In the last video, we talked about how to write the equation of a line when you were given a slope and a point that the line goes through. In this video, we're talking about what do we do if they give us 2 points that the line goes through. And notice they don't give us the slope, okay? So if they give us 2 points that the line goes through, or they give us a graph, and we pick out 2 points that the line's going through, we can still write the equation of the line, okay? But if you think back to the last video, I had told you you need 2 main pieces of information to write the equation of a line. If you remember, I told you you have to know what the slope is, and then you have to have a point that the line goes through. And once you have those 2 pieces of information, you can use slope-intercept form or point-slope form, and you'll be able to write the equation of the line, okay? And so the difference in this problem is, notice they give you 2 points, so you could actually use either one of these points as your point to be able to write the equation, but they don't give you the slope. So what you actually have to do before you can go to this point is to find your slope, okay? And so we've practiced finding slope. We just have to go to the side and find it, okay? So remember, you can, if you were looking at a graph, you could do the rise over the run, so don't forget that. Or if you were given, like in this case, you're given 2 points that are on the line, you can use that slope formula. So remember, slope formula, you take your y values on top, and then you divide and you subtract them, and then you divide, you do the same thing to your x values. So I'm just going to plug it in that equation and find my slope. And so my y values, I'm going to take my y2 minus my y1, so it would be 15 minus 3. And then on the bottom, remember, whichever point you start with, like when you choose your first y value, you have to go back to that point to start with on the bottom when you choose your x values. So on the bottom, I have to do 4 minus, well, my other x value is -2. So make sure you take and you subtract those 2. So 1 minus whatever the other one is, all right? And then we just simplify. So on top, I have 15 minus 3. So 15 minus 3 is 12. And then on the bottom, 4 minus a -2. Well, minus a negative will become a positive or a plus. So it'd be 4 plus 2, which is 6. So when I simplify that, 12 divided by 6, I'm going to have to erase and rewrite it since I'm running into my point there, ends up being 2. So the slope of this line is 2. Okay, so now we know our slope, okay, and then we just choose a point. And again, the line goes through both of these points, so you can choose either point that you want to whenever you plug it in this equation. And so if you don't like negative numbers, you could choose this one. Or if you don't really care, you could choose that one, okay? And so I'm going to choose the -2, 3. To use. And so now I have all the information I need. I know my slope is 2, and then I know that it goes through the point -2, 3. All right, so I'm going to show you again how you can use either form to write the equation, and then if you need more examples, I will make another video showing you more examples, okay? So if we're doing slope-intercept form, remember you plug in your slope and then you plug in that point. So I'm going to go to the side. My slope was 2, and then the point that I decided to use was -2, 3. Okay, so remember, this is my x and that's my y. So when we plug it in here, remember we're plugging it in to find the y-intercept, and then we go back and plug in our slope and our y-intercept when we find them, okay? So I'm going to plug in my y, which was 3, equals, my slope is 2, and then my x value is -2, so you plug it in for that, each part, and then you're solving for b. So I just simplify, so my 2 times -2 is -4, bring down my plus b, and then from there I have to add 4, so I can get my y-intercept by itself. So -4 plus 4 is 0. On this side I get 7, and then That's my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 7. So now I have everything that I need to be able to write it in slope-intercept form. So I just go in and plug it in. So it's y equals, my slope was 2, and so it's 2x plus, and then my y-intercept was 7. So there we go. All right, so again, the only reason you use this point is so that you can plug it in to find the y-intercept. That's the only reason we use the point, okay? So you can't forget to go back and plug it in, plug in your slope and your y-intercept to actually write the equation, all right? So now with point-slope form, remember we plug in our slope and then we plug in our point for the x1 and y1, okay? So again, you kind of go to the side and write down all the information you need and label it so that you can plug it in easily. So remember, in this one, this is the x1 and the y1 value, okay? And then I just go in and I put blanks for everywhere where I'm going to plug in. So I'm going to plug in for my y1, and then I'm going to plug in for my slope, so I'm going to leave that blank too. And then it's x minus, and then I'm going to plug in my x value there, okay? So my y value, which is 3, goes here. I kind of think my y goes with the y. And then the slope was 2, so my 2 goes there. And then my x value was -2, so I'm just going to plug it in there. So notice, draw blanks and then plug in, because if you try to plug it in as you go, most people make mistakes there, all right? Then you simplify. So you have to put it in slope-intercept form usually. So I'm going to just put it in slope-intercept form. Right here I have a minus and negative, so that's going to become plus a positive. And then I have to distribute that 2, so it'd be 2 times x, which is 2x, and then 2 times 2, which is 4. And then to put it in slope-intercept form, I've got to get my y by itself. And so right now I'm subtracting 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides to get it by itself. -3 plus 3 is 0. And then I end up with y equals, my 2x comes down, and then 4 plus 3 is 7. And notice, we should get the same answer for here and here because we're kind of accomplishing the same goal. We're just doing it 2 different ways, all right? So I will make another video with a couple extra examples if you need it. So just make sure to look at that one if you need extra.